Well, I have to say, I was really late to actually the community. I was really late to the Facebook group. I didn't know about it until I think there was a challenge. So the first thing, just really get immersed into that, really get to know, because there's so much, everything you need to know about getting started is with them, right? It's in that page. And also just like the motivation, just not feeling alone. I feel like if you are the type of person who requires a little bit more of a sense of community or a social aspect to working out and not feeling alone, it's incredibly helpful. And then in terms of really starting out, I say take it easy because it gets hard really fast.
Time to hit the gym, better do it smart. Get your own coach, there where you are. Start the day right, there in your home. With the smartest gym in the world, ready, set, go. Smart pedal, smart bar, smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right, AI, form advice. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a total workout.
Welcome to the Superset Podcast, episode 16. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
How was your
New Year?
How was your holidays?
Oh, fabulous.
How were your holidays?
They were great. I have a major case of the Sundays. It is sadness at the holidays being over. It is, I have to go back to work, and I had like 10 days off. So it's like, I know no one out there feels sorry for me that I had to work.
Don't.
Like, no,
like,
nor should you.
10 days off. Wah.
Wah.
Yeah.
I know.
Or, you're working. Wah.
Yeah, it's totally. It's still painful. It's all relative.
Yeah.
Our stress is relative. I don't like it. I don't want to go. Wah. That's my version.
That's your version of a wah?
Yes. Wah.
So, it feels like it's been forever.
It does.
Since we've done one of these.
It does. Well, because of the holiday.
Yeah, it hit a weird time.
It did. And then our production company, it's, they have to have a certain amount of time. And then because we do every 2 weeks, it was just kind of hard to make it all happen.
Get all kerfluffled. So,
it did.
So our New Year's resolution is to get back on schedule a little bit. So,
so if you see me friending people out there, trying to get a message to you.
Yeah. So what do you have in store for people this week?
Well, there's new fun stuff coming up in the month of January for Tonal. And we also we're going to talk about some of the new programs that have dropped and new workouts and new features and what went on with the Tonal Gives Back challenge, like how that all turned out, and then a couple of news things.
Okay, awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us. While you're there, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and maybe leave a review if you like what you're hearing, so people that come along behind you know that we're worth a shot.
Super helpful. So thank you to those of you that have.
Absolutely. And of course, you can check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Superset Podcast. While you're there, like the page and join the group. So I guess
we shall.
New tonal features.
So about 45 minutes after we recorded last time, Tonal's funny that way. Sneaky little.
No, what it is, Tom, is that they're constantly constantly rolling out new products and new features. So it's not their fault.
Yeah, I bet you 45 minutes after we get done recording this, they're going to announce that the Tonal now makes coffee. It had a built-in juice bar the whole time. You just pull down on a little handle, and on the other side, you get juice.
That sounds kind of gross.
Well, I mean, it's a work in progress.
Okay.
The sound will get better over time, I'm sure.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be like
thinking of like fruit products sitting in there for the last year I've had my machine.
They've got a way around it. It's the magic of Tonal. But before they get to that, let's talk about the thing that they actually have.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So it actually was a little bit after our last episode. This came out on December 16th, and it's all new data that you can see right on your screen. So before, when you were doing like a free lift, you could see how your metrics compared, like each rep, how much range of motion you had.
Okay.
And that was cool, but you couldn't see it real time on the machine. But Now you can see it real time on the machine, and you can see not only your range of motion, you can see your power for each rep. And I tell you what, this is a game changer. It because I you have to like hit 80% of like the goal. I shouldn't say you have to. The
Right.
goal is to hit 80% of your power each time you do a rep. So if you have a set of 10 and you start off with X amount of power, you want to stay steady with that the whole time. You don't want to fall too far below that, because if you do fall too far below that, you will not be able to advance to the next like increase in pounds.
So on the first rep, do as little as possible.
No, no, don't do that. It's
Well,
because
no,
you're only cheating yourself.
right. There's there's really no purpose in gaming it. You're either going to make it easier than it should
But
be
even
or
if-
harder than it should be, and neither will benefit you.
Even if you did that, Tom, that wouldn't help you, because if you did it as easy as possible, then you still wouldn't go up, because it would be like, well, you're too weak to do
Well, that's what I'm
this,
saying. You'll
so-
either make it too easy for yourself or too hard for yourself.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
there's
But the point being that it's a game changer, because as you see the reps, you can be like, okay, I have this line I need to get above every time I do a rep. And
Right.
that can be very helpful. And doing that, I got immediate PRs on my power, and my strength score went up. Not my strength score, but like I went to the next strength on each of my moves, on
Gotcha.
almost all of them. However, I did find another spot where this is not as easy to do, and
Mhm.
that is when you are doing sweat and shred with Pablo. And I'm assuming any endurance kind of workout, because
Okay.
it's muscle endurance, so the whole idea is to work longer and you're going to tire your arm out more. Therefore, it is a lot harder, let's say you're doing 20 reps, to continue the entire, like make it the same for 20 reps as you could do for 10 reps. It's
Gotcha.
a very different thing, and my muscles don't like it.
Muscles are funny that way.
I know. I mean, I know it's good for you, but anyway, I love this. I love this whole feature so much. It is probably my favorite change that they have made. Just seeing those numbers on there, it is such a motivating thing for me.
It seems like it'd be a cool thing, just because instead of waiting for form feedback, which it's like it only talks to you when you've done something wrong.
Mhm.
Like now it's kind of
Telling you in the moment.
it's got a message for you the whole time, so it's also telling you when you did something right.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because at the end of each set, it will tell you any form feedback you had now too. So at the end of your set, it'll be like, here are the reps where you had form feedback, and here
Okay.
is your form feedback. And that's new as well. They rolled that out at the same time they rolled out these graphs.
Awesome.
And so if anybody out there does not know how to do that, and you're curious because you missed out, all you have to do is there's a little button that comes up in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. And you click that, and your graphs will be on every time you do a workout from then on, as long as the workout includes that graph, which I think some of them don't. It's the only reason I say that.
Gotcha.
I can't remember. You have to go back and read the article.
So a vaccine, I was gonna say, is just around the corner, but it's here. But it's only here if you're like a nurse or a doctor or something.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's just around the corner for everybody. They're gonna start pumping them out there,
Here's hoping.
right? Which means that people can travel again, hopefully.
Yes,
Which means that you'll need to maybe do some workouts on the go.
Yes.
Ta-da.
Yes. And so that's brand new as of December 21st. Tonal just slid this out there. Surprise. Merry
Merry
Christmas. Happy
Christmas.
holidays. Yeah. All workouts are available on the go on their mobile program. Now, when I say all workouts, it's you can't use Tonal. Like if it requires the weights, you can't do the workouts.
That's gonna be problematic from an on the go.
Correct.
aspect, yeah.
But you can do the meditation, you can do the yoga, you can do the dance cardio, you can do the stretches and things like that. So core, there's a lot of workouts. Any of the body weight stuff you can do.
Gotcha.
So that's great, because like you said, whenever you're traveling, and a lot of people were over the holiday, even if they just went to go see like their parents and
Right.
keep it a small gathering, they still were able to keep up their streak, which is very important to people who work out on the Tonal every day. They want to see every bubble. Now they can.
And soon we'll all be able to move about the country freely.
That's what we're hoping. And on that note, I know a lot of people who listen to our podcast live out in California. So just know that we are thinking of you guys. I know it's really rough out there now with the COVID,
Yeah.
and it has not gone unnoticed. And we're hoping you all stay safe and healthy, please.
And since it's a new year, Tonal has their anti-resolution guide to getting stronger in 2021.
Yeah, I really liked this article. It was published on December 18th on Tonal's blog, and it walks you through how to get stronger in 2021 and not make resolutions. Meaning, a lot of times people make resolutions and then they don't necessarily stick to them.
Right.
So what they wanted to do was make some changes that are lifestyle changes.
Right.
And if you do that, then you're going to be more successful. You know, if you're like, well, I want to lose weight in 2021. Okay, but how much weight? And are you talking muscle mass? Are you talking fat?
Yeah.
Or are you talking both? You don't care as long as the number goes down. So there's all kinds of different ways to look at goals. And so this article walks you through how to make some tweaks to your lifestyle to have a healthy 2021 according to what your goals are, and make them specific so that you can really knock them out of the park.
Which is great, because so many times resolutions are, people, I think, subconsciously perceive them as a short-term change.
Yeah.
Or like lose weight. Well, if your goal is lose weight, then when you've lost weight, you're like, I'm done now.
I'm done.
And then you put weight back on.
Absolutely. And it's like, really, it's what you want to do are the things like, I want to eat healthier, and then define what healthier is for you.
Right.
And that, in addition to additional exercise, will probably help you lose weight.
Right. So you're eating healthier, which is all sorts of meal prep that we have
Yes.
things everywhere now.
Yes.
I'm eating healthier, which is I switched to baked Cheetos.
Yeah.
So
that seems fair.
but it's healthier.
Sure.
Baby steps.
Right.
I think I should be rewarded.
You should. Yeah. Congrats, Tom. I'm really happy for you.
I'm the real hero here.
Just so our listeners get the full impact of that, you know how frustrating it is when all he does is change to baked Cheetos and yet loses twice the amount of weight I do in one day. Yeah, that's baloney and bullshit all mixed into one. It's not right.
Well, I also had a hell of a head start on you from a weight standpoint. Let's not forget that.
I don't care. I can be jealous.
Speaking of changing the topic.
Yes, good timing.
Yes. There's a Raising the Barbell challenge that will be underway by the time you're hearing this.
Yeah. And it's a new kind of challenge in that, one, it's a brand new program. So Raise the Barbell is one of the most popular programs that Tonal has had. And they just released Raising the Barbell 2, which is one of Coach Nicolette's programs. Now, apparently, I have never taken Raising the Barbell, but apparently it is known for its quote unquote insane leg day, which terrifies me, by the way. But I love Coach Nicolette's workouts. I love all the coaches' workouts, but she has a way, there's something about her workouts that just, I don't know, it's like the right intensity for me. I keep going back to them.
Gotcha.
So what this particular challenge is going to do, she not only worked in, here's 4 days a week to work out. She made a whole calendar for the entire month of January. And it's like adds in all the other instructors. Whenever you're taking a rest day, here's a meditation you can do, or here's a yoga you can do. And so the entire calendar is filled with suggestions. Not to mention, there's going to be a virtual group workout every once a week. There will be a virtual group workout. So like the first week, it's Monday. So that will have occurred before this post. And then the next week it will be on Tuesday. The next week it will be on Thursday. And the next week, the final week, it'll be on Friday. So each week you have a chance to work out with everybody who's doing this challenge. And she's going to go live tonight, as a matter of fact, to kind of talk through all the questions. But each week she's going to go live and walk through any questions, kind of give you encouragement along the way. So what a great way to kick off 2021. I mean, you're basically getting you're getting personal training on top of personal training. I mean, this is amazing. It's super exciting. So I'm really excited about it. And of course I will be joining. I was a little mixed emotions about it because I was in the middle of doing another program.
Right.
And so I have to leave that program, which I didn't want to do. But my thought process is, and there might be other people struggling with this decision. That's why I'm out here telling them this.
Mm-hmm.
My thought process is that if we continue as a group to do future challenges, that we're going to then be on the same cadence. So pulling out of one to then be on the same
to
cadence
get in sync then with the, because then when this is over, they'll roll into the next one and you can do that one.
Yeah, and it may not be the same type of thing, but I think everyone enjoys working out together. So I think we'll be on the same cadence as each other, even if Tonal isn't participating in some challenge, the rest of us can participate together. So that was worth it for me. That was
some short-term pain for long-term gain.
Exactly. And I'll circle back around and do this one again.
And speaking of challenges, all throughout the holidays, there was the Tonal Gives Back challenge.
Yes.
And just an update on how that went.
Yeah. So super exciting. The community helped Tonal raise $7,138 for the Eat, Learn, Play Foundation. And if you missed it, you should go check it out. There was a Tonal talk with the Eat, Learn, Play Foundation members, like some of the people who founded it. So you could get to listen to them and hear about why this is so important, how it all got started, etc. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that Tonal did that for the holidays.
Look who's talking about Tonal.
Tonal CEO and founder Ali Orady was on Yahoo Finance.
He was.
Well, I'm sorry. I take that back. He was on Fox Business Live, right?
Well, it's finance.yahoo.com.
But this
is on Fox Business Live. You're right. It's very confusing.
I don't watch the business news stuff.
I don't either. I don't.
So this logo
Totally.
in the bottom on the actual page. So it must be like a merger of the two things.
Yeah.
Like when there was MS and NBC, when it was Microsoft
Exactly,
and NBC, and then it was all together. So,
but the point being that Ali was on here,
Yes.
and he is walking through what exactly Tonal is and why it's so beneficial to people. So pretty cool that he got to be on whichever this thing is, and regardless of what you call it, Yahoo Finance covered it, and
Right.
that is exciting. So pretty cool.
yeah. And then if that wasn't enough, they were also featured on datingnews.com. Now, I just want to say I found this article because I was searching Google News for articles about Tonal.
That's
I don't
convenient.
normally pay attention to dating news because
you just sure found it real quickly. I have a Google alert set up and I didn't get this one, but you sure found it real fast.
I don't know. I was like, Google News, there it was. That's all I did.
Well, we'll let it slide this time.
Okay.
I'm not really worried about it for anybody listening.
Yes.
But I thought it was an interesting kind of take on it because they say Tonal's a smart home gym that motivates singles and couples to look and feel their best. I mean, isn't that all workout equipment?
I know, right?
I was like, I'm not really sure.
It was an odd angle. I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, that's kind of how they all work.
And the reason I thought it was funny is because they're dating news, like that was their like hook to like make it work, which good for them for finding a way to make it work. After writing lots of articles for our website, I can say that it is not as easy to do as it sounds.
Totally.
So, but they talk all about Tonal. They talk about, all of the benefits of it. It's a really good article and definitely good to point out to people who are thinking about it and they aren't sure. This is another really good one that goes into a lot of detail about all of the benefits of it and in, the kind of not return on investment, but basically like what the value of it is.
Right.
So awesome article.
It's instead of ROI, it's SOI.
Yeah. What sweat on investment?
Sex.
Oh, okay. Because
it's dating news. They're like
datingnews.com.
Yeah.
Sex on investment.
Right. They're like, you're gonna work out because you want to get you some.
Thank you, baby Bush.
That's the goal.
New Tonal content.
New yoga flow. Familia. There's 3 news. That's a lot of news.
So I cut and pasted Coach Francis's announcement of her new program.
Right.
And so that was how she did it. So I guess I should clean those up whenever I'm posting it in the list for Tom. But
it's 3 times as new as everything else.
But this is cool because it's the Art of Flow. So it's another new yoga a yoga class. It's 30 minutes of flow so that you take the time to connect your breath to your movement. This is a good thing to think about when you're getting back into life after the holidays, whether you've already done it or you're still struggling to do it. That'll be me tomorrow. Because when you are able to make a little space in your brain, I have found it's all of the things that come at you don't seem as overwhelming because you can get your brain to like shut up for a second.
Right.
And then like just that silence gives you peace. And so taking the time to do yoga or taking the time to do meditation is so helpful. So I highly recommend that to people this time of year.
And then there's all sorts of new programs that are coming out. I mean, there always are, but we already talked about Raising the Barbell.
We did.
Not to be
Yes.
confused. Now, will I be able to follow Raising the Barbell 2? Will I understand the plot twist if I haven't seen Raising the Barbell 1?
You will.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, Coach Nicolette said, smart Alec, that even if you do 2 first, 1 can be done right after it. Like you don't have to do them in order. So like
Gotcha.
you don't have to do 1, then 2, or it doesn't count or it doesn't work. Like you can do 2 and then 1 and you're still getting all the great benefits out of it, which is not at all what you meant, but I totally made it work. Ha
You should do this for a living.
Yeah.
And then there's also some new meditations.
Yeah, there's some new meditations. Calm in the Clouds with Coach Allison. Now, this is a kids program, so it's great for doing a meditation with the family, which again, with the kids being home due to COVID, or maybe they were home for the holidays, this is another great option to try. And then there is Reclaim Your Calm with Coach Allison. This one is a recovery for beginners. So not necessarily directed toward the whole family, but it's directed toward beginners. So if you haven't tried meditation in the past, this would be a good one to start with.
And then checking in on Tonal Talks, there was a new one.
Yeah, this one occurred at like I think the second half of December. But it's such a great story with Brian Canner, and it's all about strength and perseverance. This one, so I guess Brian had he found out when he was 17 that he was like had scoliosis in it, and so he had a fused spine.
Okay.
And so he had to have a bunch of surgeries. And it really, if you've ever heard of anybody with this, like it's really damaging to your spine. And then when it's fused and you have all those surgeries, like your back is never the same.
Right.
And so it's difficult to get the mobility. It's difficult to do workouts and stuff. And so, you know, Brian continues to be active and he has found ways to work around this because of his perseverance. So great story. Definitely think everyone ought to check that out.
And then finally, before we segue into our interview of the week, Tonal has their January book club selection.
Yes. So this is brand new, Tom. They weren't.
Okay, I was about to say, like, is this new?
Yeah.
And then I was afraid that the answer was going to be, no, Tom, we've talked about this on every episode. And then I would look like a complete jackass. And
well, I'm glad you're paying enough attention to know this is new. This is new. Brand new, and they're kicking off this in January, and I believe the first meeting is January 6th. And so this is the first book, and it's called The Miracle Morning, and it says the not so obvious secret guaranteed to transform your life before 8 a.m. And it's
would you like my readers?
Well, it's at a weird angle because like I can't see. Never mind.
I'm just saying, when I do that, I got made fun of until I finally got readers.
Well, never mind. And it's by Hal Elrod. I have not read it yet, but this looks like a great thing. I love that Tonal is finding ways to continue to like get stronger within the community. So if you go through the blog post, which you can see here, it's Tonal Book Club January Miracle Morning. They kind of walk through what's going to happen in the book club. They walk through how to join the book club and how to participate in the book club. So, and of course that'll be out on our Facebook, what is it called? Superset.
Our Facebook.com/Superset podcast.
I can't ever remember what that one's called. Okay. So that's where you can go to find out all about that.
Checking in with the Tonal community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Mariana Flynn. Hey, Mariana, how's it going?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're excited. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us. I always like to kind of reach back in the archives. And when did you first find out about Tonal and how?
Well, not that long ago, my husband actually is a driving force behind our Tonal. And I think it was around this time last year in December, there's a Tonal store near us. And he was walking in the mall and thought he's a big tech guy, like loves everything tech, and worked in a software industry for a while. So it was like, oh, I think this is a really cool thing for us. And I said, why? We have a rack in the gym that you don't use. And it's just another thing that you're going to get that we're not going to use. And so that was December of last year. And for us, it came very quickly. I believe that we got it like in January, early January.
Oh, well, yeah, that's also it wasn't COVID.
And it was new, but maybe because we're in LA, it was a little different. Maybe, I don't know. But it was interesting because I'd never seen it, never gone to the store. And then in January, this thing shows up on my wall
Ta-da.
in the garage.
So you didn't even know what to expect before it got there?
Never heard of it, never
Wow.
researched. And in fact said to him, I said, it's just going to be another thing that sits there, because I was self-proclaimed Pilates addict and had been going to a Pilates studio 3-4 times a week. So why was I going to need this exercise equipment? I went to classes with other people.
Right.
I didn't even, and he said to me, in January, you should do the assessment with me. Let's do the assessment. I'm like, why? He was so excited that I maybe would use it too. But that's how I found out about it. It literally, when it showed up in my house after it was installed, I'd never read anything.
That's great. I've never heard that story before. So I love that.
It's embarrassing, but that's my story.
So did you say it's in your garage?
Yeah, so we converted our garage. It's like a gym / storage facility.
Gotcha.
So, but it was had the right wall for it, obviously.
Yeah.
And we're in California, so it's, it's not that
You
bad
can do that.
weather-wise.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because when you said that, I was just like, LA. Like, you
Yeah.
can't, and we're in the Midwest. Like, you couldn't get away with that here. You would freeze or sweat your butt off.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And the machine might be at risk, like you don't.
Right.
It's a very different,
Yeah.
very different world here
As I understand.
yes.
for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
Okay, so you did the assessment. Were you like, oh, I really like this? Or was it like you had to take some time?
I was impressed. I was
Okay.
like, oh, wow, this is heavy. It's different than what I thought it would be. And we didn't, I started a class because it said, do your preferences and what your goal was. And mine was get lean and build muscle. At the time, you could still do multiple goals, right? So I was like, oh, cool. I'll start with this program. Let's hit play. Maybe did one workout
Okay.
and didn't see it until March.
And then COVID.
And I would maybe not go to the garage that much at the time either, because now the garage is my sanctuary because it's where Tonal is.
Sure.
But it wasn't before. It wasn't my emotional support pet, So So I was like, there's a thing back there, but we don't really use it. And it was like, maybe I had some supplies, but not really. And again, I have a rack that just sits there with
Sure.
lots of weights and such. So I didn't really use it until I'd say March. I think it says March 16th, maybe. It's my first day of my streak.
I think that's the first day of a lot of people's streaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Monumental day, epic Tonal day.
so does your husband rub it in about being right?
Yeah, he always says, and he does.
Good for him. Good for him.
He'll always say, I am a late adopter to everything. Like, I am the last person to get the iPhone. I'm the last person to know how important contacts, so he'll always say that my first instinct is, no, this is not for me.
You have to ease into things.
That explains one of the pictures that we saw of you online. You have parachute pants on. So that's it all makes sense now.
You'd fit in great in the Midwest.
Yeah.
We're late adopters to everything.
We're still very trained. We're still not sure about this whole acid wash jean thing. We're just going to let it play out before we really double down.
Exactly. So he does rub it in. He rubs it in a lot. And in fact, I think he's baffled by it. He didn't realize that this would become my new thing. Right.
Sure.
Never thought it would become my thing. And in fact, I think Tonal is more mine than it is his.
I was going to say, is he using it on a regular basis?
I would like for him to be more consistent than he is. But
so if we were to compare profiles.
First off, that was said very delicately.
It was.
Well
it
done.
was. Yes.
Yes.
He's going to listen to this. I gotta protect myself.
You might not want to have him watch it then, because the facial expressions really gave it away.
So he has been, I would say the last month, he's been more consistent. He's a guy who's had a lot of injuries over the years, and it's very tough for him to stick with programs because things get aggravated. We got in touch with Dr. Liz Letchford, now Dr. Liz.
Heard of her?
Yes. Yes, you've heard of her. And she's helped him with some stuff. So we're hoping that as this continues, he can continue doing it. But he loves it. I mean, he is a big fan. I think that maybe my level of commitment at this time is a little more intense than his.
Okay.
So that probably helps then, so he's not going to be mad that like he brings home the Tonal and you end up on the podcast. Okay.
Yeah, well, yes, I hope not.
Yeah. But if he is upset, tough, right? That what you're thinking? You're like, yeah.
She's like, no comment.
Yeah. It's my goal at least once every 4 episodes to completely ruin someone's marriage.
Oh, that's a nice goal,
It's just a little thing it's a little service I offer.
It's a service. Listen, right now we're all stuck together. There's nothing you can do. We're going to be in this house no matter what.
Well, the vaccines are on the horizon. Maybe.
That's right. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I still probably will be using my Tonal. I still won't be going to a traditional,
Yeah.
So do you
go ahead?
Do you feel like that will be because you now love your Tonal so much, or because you're still skeptical of going to a gym, or a little bit of both?
I think because I never got the benefits from fitness that I did from just doing those Pilates classes. Like, I didn't really understand what it was to actually be in good shape. In fact, I thought I was in fantastic shape. And I really wasn't. I wasn't including cardio. I wasn't really weight training. I mean, I have a strong core, and I definitely got rid of like lower back pain, which was a huge issue for me 5 years ago. But I didn't have the holistic approach to fitness that I think Tonal has brought to my life, to be honest.
I feel like it's a real game changer, because I did Peloton before I did Tonal, and I pretty much rode or ran every single day. But then once I added Tonal in, it's like I feel stronger, and so the strength has become like the core of my workout, where I sprinkle in now the cardio. It's completely changed how I approach it, and it sounds like it's the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really didn't even do the cardio that you were doing. Like you're already like miles ahead of me. My version of cardio is walking on the treadmill while reading my Kindle. It's really not cardio.
Hey, but at least you're walking. That's great. I mean, seriously.
My feet are moving. My feet are moving.
I read mine laying in bed.
Sorry.
I said I read my Kindle laying in bed.
So like, seriously, you're still.
I do that too. But yeah, I think adding the boot camps and cardio classes and all of that, I would never. I mean, there was a thing called Class Pass. I don't know if that was a thing.
Yeah, totally.
I never would have bought into that, because I'm like, why would I go to all these different gyms and have to get to know people? Like, I'm just, again, not an early adopter to anything, and a routine creature of habit. So I just wasn't ever really going to do that. And now it's a button, and I figure out my whole day. And the night before, I'm browsing, I'm trying to try something new without anyone seeing what I'm doing, feeling judged.
Yes, yes.
And ultimately, if I don't like it, stop.
Okay. Well, so what kind of, it sounds like you're doing more than just like the programs. It sounds like you're kind of sampling all of the tonal content. What have you found as you've been exploring? Like, what do you love? What's not your favorite?
I've tried everything. So I think my top, if you look at my like favorite workouts, now there's a filter. It will show programs, so weightlifting,
yes,
yoga, and recovery. I do a lot of yoga now and I'd never done yoga before Tonal. I find that it really helps me with my weightlifting, with mobility. I do a lot of Jared's mobility. I love it. I really think it's a love letter to our bodies. Like
yes.
It's a must.
Yes. It really changes how things open. Like, like just your shoulders opening or, that movement. It's like, I don't know. I didn't realize that over time, like everything starts to kind of close in. It's like you really have to work at making, like I was just doing one of the Smart Flex workouts this morning, and they have you like lay on the bench to stretch out your chest, and you just like put your arms down to the side, and like that in and of itself feels amazing.
I hear you. I know. I do Pilates. I still love Pilates, so I do Jenny's Pilates. They only have 4 right now, but I know there are more coming.
Definitely.
The one that I haven't been able to connect with is kickboxing. And I love Gabby, so I do a lot of HIIT.
Okay.
But I just don't have the coordination for it.
There's a lot of...
Even if no one's watching, I just don't have it.
Okay. I can understand that. And kickboxing in particular, I have fight camp, so I've tried some of the kickboxing, and it's kind of hard. I mean, I like the aspect of like it's very challenging, but kind of back to that whole, if you don't have the mobility, like continuing to kick your leg in the air is more exhausting than one might think.
No, it sounds pretty exhausting.
Well, I was surprised.
And you see kids doing it.
I know.
And you're like, kids do it all day. They're constantly kicking and nothing affects them. I try to kick one thing, I'm going to go down.
Well, they're short. They don't have to kick as high.
Well, I'm short.
Yes,
They're even shorter than you.
Okay. Not much, but some.
So you are now incorporating all kinds of different things. What kind of changes have you seen as you've gone through this process? And you said you felt like you were in great shape before. So is it like is it aesthetic changes or is it how you feel? Both?
I think it's both. I mean, I definitely have a lot more energy. I find that I need to release more energy these days.
Yeah, don't we all?
And it really is. Like I am at the gym and that is my sacred time now. It's the only alone time I get and I will use it. and it's about an hour and a half. So I'm on Tonal about an hour and a half every day.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I'll do a program, right? Sometimes they're like close to an hour, 45 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. And then I'll do a stretch or I'll do a yoga or I'll do a meditation. So I always find something that I really like. One day will be core. I'll try the core classes or I'll try. So I definitely listen. I attend a lot of those tonal talks with Kate and the coaches. And I really try to listen because I feel like I'm going to like fitness university when I log in, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know any of this. I just assumed like if I walked every day and if I did one thing of exercise, I was in good shape. And so I really want to use everything I can. I have noticed also physically, I'm definitely a lot more more toned than I used to be. And my arms, I had no arm strength, basically. My legs, everything just looks, I think how maybe it should have looked 20 years ago. So I'm catching up. But yeah, I feel overall physically, it's made a huge transformation in my body. But also like, I just feel like mentally and energy wise and just zen and I have seen incredible progress.
I love when I can pick up something easily that I didn't expect to be able to pick up easily.
Totally.
I hope we're talking about objects.
The Instacart orders that get delivered.
Exactly. It's like you go get the groceries and, it's like, you used to be able to carry like one bag at a time. And now I'm like, rah. Like 6 bags. I got this.
You got this.
4 gallons of milk.
That's right. No, like when you have to carry those boxes of like what's water or whatever, like this with soda on top. I'm like, pile it on. I got this.
Yes.
I'll take this one too.
I mean, that's a great feeling. That really is a great feeling, especially when the teenagers are running around. They're carrying one thing. It's like, haha.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's just because they're lazy.
I know, but it still makes me feel good. Hush.
So do you have any favorite features about the Tonal?
Well, for the longest time, it was form feedback because I am a big form person, having hurt myself too many times in the past. That used to be a really big thing. I think now, oh God, there's so many. Today, there was one that I was admiring when I can look at my power and range.
Oh my God, I'm in love. I love that.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too, because I'm like, I wasn't working hard enough.
Yes.
There's always room for improvement here.
That power meter, like hitting that 80%. Wow, what a game changer. What a game changer.
Game changer. I mean, and also I really love, this I really, really love, probably top of the list, Tom, is the ability to replace movements when you're working out in programs. Yes. I've learned 2 things from Coach Nicolette. Only replace to make it harder on yourself.
That sounds like Coach Nicolette.
Why would you do that?
But also, if you're having an off day, just listening to your body, you don't have to like sit that out, right? You can just replace it. Where else can you do that unless you have a personal trainer telling you what to do?
Because you don't always know. Like you said about feeling like you're going to fitness university because you're getting that education on the spot. Like I didn't know that, I don't know, a split squat is very similar to doing a step up until I was playing around with that feature one day. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting similar benefits from those 2. I wouldn't have known that. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
Tonal makes you smarter.
Tonal, be your smartest.
They're like, don't play with our slug line. You're going to confuse the brand.
So what are you, how do you feel about the community? You've been around since Tonal's so new, being around for a year at this point, you're pretty ingrained in the community. You've been around to see a lot of changes. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I've been so impressed because I've never really belonged to a community like this. And so I've been just in awe of the positivity and the engagement and encouragement and motivation. Obviously, I think Kate and Rochelle do a fantastic job just setting a tone.
Yes.
But the people that Tonal attracts.
Yes. It
seems like it's just like the people you want to have a coffee with or a beer with at the end of the day. So people are really just encouraging and supportive. There's no negativity. I mean, I love it. And again, like I feel like the events that they provide for us and the opportunities to learn and grow. I mean, where else would I get that? I just can't imagine. I'm not going to go to, I'm not going to become a physical trainer. I'm not going to learn this stuff unless I attend these like snack size versions of education for me. So I love it.
I think that's a really good point because they offer so many things. I mean, every week it's like there's 3 different events and they're all beneficial in some way. The Tonal Talks have obviously more of the learning content, but all of the things that they do they enrich the experience. And, if they were a different kind of company, they wouldn't try to pull the instructors in and build those relationships. So I think that it's a really important thing that they do. And I think it brings the community to them and it allows them to feel close to the instructors, the community to feel close to the instructors, which is great.
That's true. And that actually has helped me a lot because, again, I came from a small studio, fitness regimen where you kind of know everybody. You
Sure.
go in, you have this feeling that you're going to see so-and-so tomorrow, and you're going to ask them about their day, and your teacher is going to say a few words to you. So you're right. I feel like that warmth and that true sense of like community. I mean, I'm working out at like 5:15, 5:30 in the morning alone in my garage, right?
Yep.
But I don't feel alone. It's bizarre. I'm not alone.
All those years in the gym, nobody ever asked you to be on their podcast.
That's true.
I would have never met Crystal or Tom. I'm in California, but really just like that encouragement and support from one another. And like you said, these coaches are people I never would have had access to, right? I wouldn't have had, like, they're real incredible trainers with pedigree. I would have never had that.
Yeah, I'm always kind of torn about that aspect of connected fitness, of that it's like, it's really cool that people have access to these top tier people, but then you also feel bad for the people that are maybe in your community.
Well,
you know,
but it's harder to find those people.
That is true. Like, yeah, you never know the quality of person that you're going to get. Like, that's what makes it so difficult.
And not even just on a personal trainer level. Like, here in our local community, we have a great like cycling community. We really do. But like, I have such a crazy schedule that I have so much trouble meeting their time frames, and so I can't integrate with them in the same way I can with online, because I can do it whenever I can fit it in.
Right.
They're always there.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's another aspect of it, the trainers and your community itself. Like,
yeah.
I think that's a benefit, but I
it
hear what you're
absolutely
saying.
is,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not downplaying the people
Right.
who are in our local communities. We have lots of amazing people.
But I've noticed some tonal people who have actually continued to work with trainers where they have custom programs made for them, right, on their tonals. So I think that there may be a way for you to still support, folks that you want. I certainly wouldn't even know where to start to look for someone. So maybe that I'm in a different category.
That's
probably,
a very good point. Very
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite program that you've done so far?
Oh, well, you give me hot water because I love all these coaches.
Well, it's like they're all at a 10, but like, was there one you just enjoyed more?
Well, so most recently I finished Radical Muscle Rock for the first time, Pablo, but also first time as a group. We got a group together of people who decided that we were all going to do it. We weren't going to do it at the same time of the day. Obviously, that's very hard to coordinate, but we were going to try to stay on the same days together. And that additional layer of community experience was like, wow, I met even more great people in this process. And it motivated me, and it really pushed me in a different way, alone in my garage. But I felt there was a little bit of a competition, healthy competition, I think, but also like just excitement about all kind of encouraging one another. And Pablo was very much part of that process, which was really fun. So I think I loved the program he created, Radical Muscle Rock, which was a great compilation. I think you finished it, right?
I finished it like a week and a half before you guys started the group, and I was like, dang it. Or I was like a week and a half in when you started it. I don't know, but the timing didn't work out, and I was like, It's like, I'm not going back to the beginning. This one is too hard.
Yeah, but the combination of strength and cardio I really liked.
I did too. Yeah. It was a very kick-ass program. Like, it was really challenging, but I loved the level of challenging that it was. It was really good. Yeah.
I did a lot of stuff with Liz, actually. In the beginning, Liz was sort of my go-to person. It felt gentle enough for me to ease into.
Sure.
I had never done weightlifting before, so that was really key for me to like dip my toes and go easy. And like, I really loved the consciousness of like form and body alignment and all that. So that really stuck with me in the beginning. I did a lot of her programs. I did Lean In, Daily Build, Side by Side. And then I did 4 weeks to fat loss.
Well, that's a different direction to go from gentle to 4 weeks to fat loss. Like, that is that program it's tough.
Just jumped into the cold, deep end of the pool.
But I love that one too, because like, I love you just feel so like accomplished whenever you do a hard one like that. Like, it's just such a great feeling.
I did. I really did. And actually it gave me a lot of confidence. I think one of the things I noticed, which gave me confidence, I ended up doing Power to the Max with Nicolette, which I was really nervous about.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet.
Nicolette is like a person that I love and admire, but I'm also a little bit scared of her program. So like I have to like feel a certain way before I jump in.
Sure.
And I felt really confident after 4 weeks. I was like, God, if I survive that, I can do Power to the Max. And I love Nicolette is another person. I learned so much about physical training because I never really understood this idea of like active recovery between sets and how you can still keep mobility so that you can lift better the next time, and her PAP methods and all that. So I just was like kind of in awe. And then I would get to block 3. I'm like, she's trying to kill me.
Right. But like in the best way.
This is an odd business model. I don't understand. Yeah.
If you survive, you're going to stick around.
Right.
So, but I've loved all of them. I think Radical Muscle Rock for the group experience. And I know Tonal but Kate has hinted that there will be more group type. I know Natalie just had one, and I'm in the middle of a Natalie very challenging program. I'm doing Pep in Your Step.
I was going to say it's that pep in the step, right? Because I've heard a lot of people say that it's like super challenging. And so Natalie is one that I always hear people like talk about how gentle she is too. So now I'm scared of that one because people are like, oh, that one is really challenging.
She went for the jugular. She really did. But I loved it because, again, I had just finished Radical Muscle Rock, and this group decided to stick together and do one more program together.
That's awesome.
So it was great. So we're almost done. It's very challenging, but in the best ways. And it's one of the oldest ones. It's like in the old set.
Wow.
There's talks about engaging, your smart handles. Like that was But I kind of love it because if you are, if glitz and glamour of a set aren't a thing that's going to hold you back, it's a killer program. I mean, at the end of it, I can't do all these other things that I used to be able to do, right? I'm like, oh, let me finish this and do a yoga. No, I can't lift my arm. It's done. Like the day is over. Which I think is how it's meant to be.
She's like, it is 6 a.m. and I am done.
We're bringing in groceries that day.
Kyle, you can have the garage. I'm done.
That's awesome. Well, do you have any advice for people who are just entering the tonal community? They're just getting started. What do you wish that they knew?
Well, I have to say, I was really late to actually the community. I was really late to the Facebook group. I didn't know about it until I think there was a challenge. So the first thing, just really get immersed into that, really get to know, because there's so much, everything you need to know about getting started is with them, right? It's in that page. And also just like the motivation, just not feeling alone. I feel like if you are the type of person who requires a little bit more of a sense of community or a social aspect to working out and not feeling alone, it's incredibly helpful. And then in terms of really starting out, I say take it easy because it gets hard really fast.
Yeah, you're excited for the weight to increase, and then you're not excited for the weight to increase.
I think you're like, but wait, I got to do 15 reps of that?
It's like I was feeling really good about that on set 1. Now set 3, not so good.
I was like, this is easy, everybody. And then it's not.
That's great advice. We haven't asked people this. I just want to ask, what is your leaderboard name? Because we have a leaderboard now.
Toned by Tonal, which is my Instagram name. Although I think tone has got like a bad reputation now. You're just supposed to be ripped. But I'm going to be toned.
People like shredded.
Yeah, but toned by Tonal. That's such a great
someone
name.
will take it. Someone will take shredded by Tonal. I have no doubt. Tom, that's going to be yours, man.
Yeah, Tom.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think the leaderboard is an interesting one too. A lot of controversy with that as well.
Yeah, that's one of those things you can't please everybody on that topic. Yep. And personally, I'm a pro leaderboard the way they're doing it because I like that I can feel that I'm not going to be, Action Jackson, not going to be able to lift that level of poundage. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I really like that it's number of hours, because then I can see how my commitment stacks up to other people's, especially when I add in all of the other workouts that I do outside of Tonal. So that makes me feel good. And I get other people's thoughts on it too. They want to see how they stack up, and that's a valid thought. I don't want to take away from that. But personally, I really like how they do it.
I also think, like, just to build on that, a lot of fitness and motivation is about showing up, and whatever it is that you showed up for, right? Whether you could only do 10 minutes or you could do an hour that day, but you showed up, and it feels good to know that you have that streak going, that you are putting in whatever time you could that day. It works for me that it's by day and time. Working to my advantage.
Well, I think also, though, too, if it was by just how much you're lifting, well, now they run the risk of encouraging people to do more than maybe they're ready for.
Absolutely.
And getting injured, and that's not good.
For sure. That's a danger. And also, I mean, it just, unless you're going to break it down by like weight class and height and, female versus male, like, unless you're going to do all that, it's not fair to do it that way.
Totally.
It just isn't. Yeah. So I don't know.
And there are so many ways to now figure out on the app too, on Tonal, just to figure out where you stack up in terms of gender and your strength. And I mean, another feature I really like, Tom, is actually the breakdown of body part in terms of strength level now. It's just good for us to realize you're still going to be working out the same, probably. You're going to be working out your overall body, but it's kind of interesting areas that you really are stronger, core versus arms versus legs. And it's fascinating. I love the data and the metrics. And that is something that was surprising to me. Somebody who didn't know what Tonal was, never went into the store, but I'm really engaged. I love that stuff.
That's awesome. I love that too. Go ahead.
I was thinking earlier when you were talking about how you had never heard of it or seen it until it showed up. I'm sure that like when he's describing it, especially given all the weird fitness product fads we've seen in the past with like Thigh Master and whatnot, or the tension bands and stuff, that you're probably just like, what kind of janky Bowflex thing is this going to be? and so when it shows up and it's got real, it's a real thing and it's got intense data that it's providing, like, that's radically different than what you're seeing from other fitness products in the past, Peloton excluded.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I know what you mean. Yeah. I mean, I think the world, the fitness world is just kind of in a different place now with all of these things at home. And like, I mean, Peloton for sure. And Tonal has given them the credit for that. Peloton kind of started that whole trend of headed that way. But I think that Tonal is, in my opinion, the only company besides Peloton which has they want to build the community. They want to build on the machine that they have and keep adding to it. And they listen to people, and they're not just like, let's get as many people on here as possible. Right. They're like, let's build a good product. And so I think you make a good point, Tom, that like when you see it and you have no idea what it is, that had to have been like, what did you do?
Like digital weights. And I'm like, what does that mean? Yeah. Like, no weights, physical, I can touch.
Turns out they're a lot harder than those regular weights. Yeah.
Oh my God. So much harder, right? Yeah. I was actually talking to someone today who is away from her Tonal and is trying to do some gym, trying to kind of convert things, and is having a bit of a hard time, right? Because some of it, I think Tonal makes it very safe and easy for people to work out in terms of setting yourself and making sure the load. And I was saying to her, I was like, I mean, to think that I used to do tricep kickbacks with 5 pounds and I thought I was like, ooh, wow. Right? Golden. And now I'm like, the moment I have to do a I'm like, this thing's going to kill me. And it says, whatever, 9 pounds on the screen. I'm like, this can't be 9 pounds. Right?
Yes. I mean, it's like I do other programs now and I'll try it like a boot camp outside of Tonal. And I'm just like, I'm throwing weights around. Like, I'm like, oh, this is so light. What just happened?
Your muscles, Crystal.
Now, if I could only get my eating under control so that I could see the muscle, I would be
girl.
You're carbo loading.
It's this time of the year. We can't even talk about food this time of the year.
I
Like,
think
it's just
2020 is just a
be.
pass. 2020 is just, it's too much stress eating.
There was.
It's one of the upsides of not having to see people in real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, the stretchy
Everything
pants.
looks better.
Yes. Now, if we can just get stretchy parachute pants, we'll bring it all full circle. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we go, where can people find you on social media? Well, you kind of said it, but if you want to hit it again, where they can find you, and if you're in other places that you dig.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I really connect with the most, less than Facebook. Facebook, I really only use it for the community. But on Instagram is Toned by Tonal. And so that is probably the best way to find me. And I love connecting with people that way.
So did you not have an Instagram before, or did you fall in love with it so much you changed your Instagram name?
No, I did have an Instagram, but it's like with my kids and stuff. So
Gotcha.
I just got private. I didn't want
Totally, yeah.
This one I like to separate because I found that I can connect with people only on fitness, right? Mm-hmm. If you come at me and trying to talk about, I don't know, it's not going to be my jam. Like, I want to talk about tonal.
Right.
And I will help you. And I love the accountability, and I love cheering people on it. If you're on tonal, I'm the first one to say, oh my God, killer, fire. I sent the fire emojis everywhere, the muscles. But I like that it's a controlled environment for me to kind of focus on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I was just curious
Absolutely.
because I'm like, it hasn't been, you haven't had it that long. So I was just like, what does that mean?
No, I'm glad you circled back around to that because I know you from Instagram. I mean, that's where I first kept seeing your name pop up in all of my, I would see you. And so whenever you said that was your leaderboard name, I was like, okay, I thought so.
Yeah, I just kept everything there. It's just easier. But also, like I said, I mean, I just don't want my kids on, it's
Absolutely.
weird. They're so weird people. They're so not tonal people, but they're weird people.
The world is a weird place.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes,
I get
it is. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us.
Thank you. I'm so honored. This is awesome. And I can't wait to see where Crystal's going to do next in terms of program. Tom, we got to get you in a group. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Tom.
So thanks for joining us.
You on the leaderboard, Tom.
I will never be on a leaderboard.
Aww.
I would need do they have a follower board? Can I do that?
Oh, you're too much.
Well, thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you. And congrats. Such a successful podcast. I'm such a fan.
Thank you. Well, you have a great evening, and I will be in touch with all of the details.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, I guess that brings this episode to a close. What, pray tell, do you have in store for people next week?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Gonna have to get on that.
So if you find yourself receiving a Facebook request from Crystal, she might be wanting to interview you, so you should say yes.
Yes.
So until then, where can people find you?
People can find me at Facebook at Facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, or you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. Find the show online, Facebook.com/Superset Podcast. Don't forget, wherever you're getting your podcast from, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. That's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep lifting.
Smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right. AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a tonal workout.
The Superset is made possible in part by support from Tonal.